And welcome back. We're in the kitchen with Rebecca Gordon from Buttermilk Lipstick. And today we're making a recipe that's sure to satisfy your sweet tooth, especially if you love cheesecake or red velvet cake or just a good brownie, because it mixes all three of those things in one. Welcome to you again.
Thank you. I know, thanks for having me.
So this is something that you really could make any time of year, but it is especially decadent for Valentine's Day.
Well, yes, and we're going to put some sweetheart swirls over the top before it goes in the oven, so it's very appropriate for Valentine's Day.
Okay, the first segment we're going to make the base, the brownie part, right?
Right, we're going to make the red velvet brownie. So what I've got here is a ½ cup of melted butter in a glass bowl, and you can just melt that right in your microwave. It takes about 30 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
And I'm adding 1 cup of granulated sugar to this.
Okay.
You just want to whisk that until it's blended.
Okay.
And then we're going to add a couple of eggs to this.
Okay.
You want to crack one in the bowl?
Sure.
Okay. And I like to switch over from the whisk to spatula at this point,
okay,
just so you don't overmix those eggs, because they can tend to be overmixed and that white will get a little air in it and it'll kind of rise up in the oven and fall back down sometimes. So we're just going to mix it till it's blended.
Okay.
And then I'm going to add 1/3 cup of whole buttermilk.
Buttermilk.
Of course.
I was going to say, hence the name, Buttermilk Lipstick.
Right, and actually the buttermilk is going to help give it a nice cake-like texture.
Okay.
To add that liquid in. And so I'm going to just stir that around the bowl like so. And then we need to add some bright red color to this, because we want that signature red velvet color. So I've got 1 ounce. Go ahead and start pouring that in.
You tell me when to stop.
You go the whole bottle. When we talk red velvet in the South, we go all the way.
You know, it's so funny. Yesterday I was making, my mom was helping me, and I was making brownies, but I was using red color for the frosting. Like I took cream cheese frosting, and I used this just for that portion of it.
Yes, you can do that for sure. Okay, now that we have that in there, we're going to stop for a second and we're going to add some dry ingredients. I've got 2/3 cup of all-purpose flour. I've got 1/3 cup of cocoa powder here.
Cocoa powder.
And then I like to add about a ½ teaspoon of kosher salt.
Okay.
You just want to whisk that together so that when we add it to this mixture with those eggs already in there, we're not going to over blend it in any way.
Okay.
And then once this is blended, we're going to take 1/3 cup of this mixture out, because after we make our cheesecake mixture, we're going to dollop that 1/3 cup over the top of the brownies, and then I'll show you how to make the swirls.
So it's essentially like a brownie cheesecake.
Yeah, it really is. And the nice thing about mixing a brownie and a cheesecake, which is a very popular thing for people to do, is that the weight of the batters is very similar.
Okay.
And so you've got that mixture, that cheesecake mixture we're going to put over the top. It's going to suspend really well in the batter.
Okay.
So that it won't sink, or, you know, sometimes chocolate chips, you'll put them into a cake and they'll sink to the bottom.
Yes.
Or fruit, you know, when you're making muffins, but not so with this. It's a very similar batter texture, so it'll hold that shape really well.
Okay.
So I'm going to take 1/3 cup of this out and just put it to the side. And then I've lightly greased some foil that I've placed into an 8-inch pan over here. The great thing about doing this is that once it's baked, we'll just lift we'll use the foil as handles and lift this whole brownie mixture out, and then we'll be able to cut it real easily into slices.
Well, we are running out of time, so I'm going to let you pour in here after you completely get it ready.
I'm going to get it
here.
all.
And as you do this, when we come back in the next segment, we're going to be actually making the top part of the frosting portion of the brownie. We're also going to talk about Valentine's Day cards, how to make them if you haven't done so already. They're right here. Okay, stay tuned for all the details on cake art. That's also coming up next. Look at that beautiful cake. We go from one sweet thing to the next right here on ABC 3340.